What's good, everybody? Sitting here, beautiful day outside. I just wanted to make a video, bro. I just been thinking a lot. I just been thinking, and I've been journaling as of late. I've been trying to journal, I should say. I journaled for a little bit before, but I fell off, and so I've been getting back into it, and it does help. I find that journaling, it allows you to tie together thoughts that you've been having. When you're someone like me and you're an overthinker, you have a lot of thoughts, right? I mean, obviously everybody has thoughts, but especially someone like me, I have a lot of concepts and theories and certain things that I'm thinking about. And throughout the day, you're just doing normal stuff. You're living your life. And so those thoughts kind of get swept under the rug. You don't really think about them very much until you get that solitude, until you have that time to journal. Those thoughts reemerge in your mind, and then you can actually finish the thoughts. That's very important. It's very important to be able to finish the thoughts, because a lot of times you have the first part of a thought or a certain concept that I think of, a certain theory that I'm trying to come up with. I have the first part of it, and then you're just living life, and so you're not going to really think about the second part, because the second part often takes a lot more thought. And so you have the first part, and then once you get to that point where you can sit down and journal about it, and then you're like, oh yeah, then you connect it to something else that you've been thinking about. You connect it to a certain experience that you recently had, or something will happen that day, and then you can connect it to that. And so it comes to fruition in your mind. And so then when you have a conversation about it later on, you have a quick response. You have a quick theory, or you have a quick thing that you already had thought about. And I'm telling you that does wonders for your conversational skills and for the way that you're perceived and how you're respected and all that. When I be talking to people, I have certain phrases and I have statements that I can make because I've already thought about it. I've already come to this conclusion. I'm not thinking about it on the fly. That's the difference. A lot of people don't really come up with their theories and their statements and stuff before the conversation. They're trying to come up with it on the fly in the middle of the conversation. And that makes it a lot more choppy. It doesn't really make for a meaningful conversation a lot of the time if you're trying to come up with it off the cuff. I find that you have a lot more meaningful conversations when you already have theories, and so does the person that you're conversating with. These people already have their thoughts. You already have the way that you think set in stone. Not so set in stone that you're not willing to hear anybody out, but you have it set in stone to where you know what you think, and you know the opinion that you have. You know the stance that you have. You know what you stand on, and you know why you stand on it. And so that makes for a much more meaningful discussion, a much more insightful conversation. When you have something that you really care about, something that you've already thought about, and you lay that out to this person, and they have something that they've already thought about, they lay it out to you, and now you guys can go back and forth on things that are already layered. It's different when I have a conversation about masculinity and femininity and all this stuff, and I actually know what I'm talking about. I actually have certain opinions that you can throw out without stuttering and stuff like that. If I say men need a purpose in life, right? If I just say that, I already know that. So I'm not just coming up with that off the cuff. I say men need a purpose in life so that they don't go focus on women, and so they don't go focus on money only. Okay, you need a purpose in your life so that you can feel fulfilled, and so they're not just working some odd job that you don't really want to do and that you feel miserable in. If I say that is much more grounds for an actual conversation than just, it seems like men nowadays just don't know what they're doing. Men nowadays just don't have anything to do. Men nowadays suck. Right? Like that doesn't lead anywhere. That doesn't help anybody. That's not pushing any type of conversation. That's why I find journaling very important. I find journaling very helpful in that way. And me, I'm not perfect or anything, obviously, and I'm be trying to. One of my goals is to improve my conversational skills, improve my relational skills, how I can relate to people and how I can speak to people and talk to people. That's something that's very important in life, and I've recognized that, and I've been working at it, especially as of late. And so this is one thing that's really helped me when it comes to these conversations that you're having. I recommend that you could try journaling or whatever, but I've just been doing that more as of late, and it's crazy because that's something that I never thought I would do. It's crazy, bro. Like now that I think about it, bro. When I was a kid, or when I was just a younger teenager, I thought that all this shit was whack. I thought all this manifestation type crap, all this like journaling and meditating and shit like that. I thought that shit was lame. I thought that shit was just whack. Like to me, it almost seemed like you're weak, or you're like whack, that you needed to do all that in order to become successful. Because I thought that I would just be the guy that just turn on the camera and just start doing shit and then just become successful like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really have to try or do any of this external manifestation and visualizing and boards and visualization boards and shit like that. I never thought that I would be that type of person. a mindful type of person. I never thought that I'd be a mindful, grounded type of person. I thought I would always be like worldly and I'm just living in the moment and just on the surface, because I hadn't gone that far. I hadn't gotten that far in my thoughts and anything like that. So I didn't think that shit was necessary. I didn't think that shit was needed. I didn't think that it was cool. I didn't think it was anything like that. But I'm telling you right now, as someone that thought like that and then went and did it anyway and come out the other side, bro, that stuff has been the most transformative stuff, bro. That's what really changes you. It allows you to get outside yourself. It allows you to be mindful. It allows you to be aware of your surroundings. That's so important, bro. When you're in your own mind, this is a heavy topic to me because I'd like some of you guys' input on this. This is one thing that I haven't come to the conclusion of yet. But I personally understand the value of manifestation, and I understand the value of having delusion to a certain extent, to having delusional confidence and to believing something will work or believing a certain thing, having such strong conviction in that thing, even though everybody else is saying it's wrong, even though everybody else disagrees. I am very aware of that and I am very supportive of that, again, to a certain extent. But also, there's also a time and place for realism, and there's also a time and place for statistics and stuff like that. When it comes to planning out your future, when it comes to chasing dreams and stuff, then manifestation is important. That's when it comes in, because you have to pair manifestation and visualization and stuff like that. You have to pair that with action. You have to pair that with plans. You can't just say I'm manifesting something and then expect it to come true. That's not how it works. You have to pair it with something else. You can't just have LeBron win championship. You need to pair it with Dwayne Wade. You need to pair it with Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to have both. So you can have the delusion, but you have to set real action towards it. You have to set real plans with it. And that's the part that I think people don't get. And that's the part that I didn't get as well when I was critiquing it as a younger adolescent. I was critiquing it because I didn't think that it was needed, because I'm like, that wouldn't do shit anyway. Just because you think it doesn't mean it's going to come true. But what I realized over time is that if you pair that manifestation and you pair that idea bonding, if you will, with actual plans and actual action, that's when things start to shift for you. And so it's not just about the journaling. It's not just about the meditating. Okay, I'm not saying that those are end-all be-all solutions to everything, but what I'm saying is those are gateways into formulating plans and becoming a more intellectual person overall. And that helps you in a multitude of ways, obviously. And so that's really what I advocate for. I'm not advocating for it just so you can just try to seem deep or something. When I talk about this shit, I'm not trying to sound deep. I'm not trying to sound like anything like that. That shit literally helped me. And so I think that you really ought to try it out. Like, just try it out. It might not work for you. I'd argue that it will work for you. You just have to be consistent with it and just force yourself to do it. But just like any other habit that you're not used to doing, like working out, for example, you're not going to be easily doing it. You have to force yourself to do it in order for it to become a real, genuine habit. But if you can do that, bro, honestly, the sky's the limit, for real. Because a lot of people aren't doing that. That's what sets you apart. A lot of people aren't being mindful. Most people are not being mindful. Most people are not doing anything like that. Like, when you are journaling and stuff, you can actually change your life, because it allows you to step out of yourself. Like I said, it allows you to step out of the present and step out of now and just now, what's going on now, the trends and the culture and all this shit that doesn't matter. It allows you to step out of that and just be one with yourself and just be one with your thoughts. Once you can do that, then you come up with things. And then when you come up with things, then you have something to build plans off of. And so that's really the basis of it, bro. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see next. And I'll check y'all in the next video, man. Peace out.